Hello, angels and fellow Jocelyn stans. We have so many jaw-dropping moments to discuss from episode 3 of The Idol. From the reveal of Jocelyn's past trauma, to Dyanne's upcoming debut as a pop idol, to that shocking ending involving the hairbrush. Stay tuned, subscribe to join the club, and fair warning, spoilers ahead, let's dive in. This week's episode digs deeper into Jocelyn's psychology and gets to the bottom of what we have all been wondering. What does Jocelyn see in Tedros, and why does she feel as though she needs him for her art? The answer might be more provocative and disturbing to some, but the answer lies within her past trauma and Jocelyn's relationship with her mother. There's more than meets the eye when it comes to her death, but more on that later. We open the episode with a sequence that showcases Tedros' increasingly disturbing behavior as he ingratiates himself in Jocelyn's life, like a narcissistic parasite, and we see the growing concern within Jocelyn's management team as a result of this. Tedros becomes controlling of almost every aspect of Jocelyn's life, from the way she styles herself to those that she can interact with, to managing her staff's employment. Despite these alarming red flags, Jocelyn seems to look the other way and give in to some of Tedros' sky-high demands. In hindsight, by the shocking conclusion of the episode, I found this sequence to be rather ironic and her team's concern hypocritical. But stay tuned, as I'll break that down later in the video. Destiny, Haim, and Leia clock Tedros for who he really is, someone who is lying about their past and brings nothing but trouble. Yet they cautiously allow him to produce 3 new songs with Jocelyn, but only if he is able to meet a 2-week deadline. Jocelyn becomes more and more acquainted with Tedros' cult, also known as the family, and it becomes crystal clear that they have been indoctrinated into hanging on his every word and decision. A conversation I found rather fascinating that takes place between Isaac and Jocelyn raises the question of whether or not embracing pain can lead to life-changing art that is truly impactful. This mirrors Jocelyn's desires to make music that matters, but she's headstrong and hesitant to embrace the pain and trauma of her past. But why? Well, throughout the episode, we learn more about Jocelyn's perspective on her music and her relationship with her mother, which underlines something incredibly important about her journey. She has never faced the trauma caused by her mother, which has led to her music feeling inauthentic as a result of her not processing the pain from her past. All she wants is to present the real Jocelyn in her music, but how can she do that when she isn't honest about her own thoughts and feelings? I have to tell you, I had a lot of complicated feelings around Jocelyn wanting to honor and cherish the memory of her mother, while also attempting to suppress the reality of their heartbreaking, tumultuous relationship. This all culminates in that surreal, jaw-dropping dinner table scene, which made my heart fall to my stomach. But before we unpack that explosive ending, we have to discuss Dyanne's role in Jocelyn's story. What does she represent in the series? And is she really the main villain? We don't get much of Dyanne in this episode, but the little that we do get does set the stage for their upcoming rivalry. You see, Dyanne has been seamlessly swapped into the empty space Jocelyn left behind once Nikki scrapped a song and music video. If you look at the set, wardrobe, and performance, it is a carbon copy of Jocelyn's previous concept and visuals. This emphasizes how the machine that is the music industry will keep chugging along with or without you, and that they don't care about your individual voice or vision as an artist. What matters most at the end of the day is how they can turn a profit, and it doesn't matter who they use to do that. As you all know, I am a huge BLACKPINK fan, and I was hoping we would get something more fun and inventive from Jennie's debut as a pop idol in the series. You know, something that aligns with her unique sensibilities and style as an artist. However, this isn't the point the show is trying to make. Instead, we're supposed to get something that lacks originality, because the real villain is the music industry that preys on those seeking fame and fortune, and they'll pit women against each other in the process. As long as you play by their rules, you will get the career you want, but it comes at the cost of your own voice as an artist. It's a bit like The Little Mermaid if you think about it. This further cements the undeniable parallels between Tedros' cult and the music industry. Both groups are attempting to exploit and profit off of the artist through any means necessary. However, they have vastly different approaches to doing so. But what are these differences? Well, the music industry and record label executives believe that proven data, tired cliches, and previous methods of success can be repackaged and resold to the masses. They think the general public will listen to or watch anything that is put in front of them. Because of this, they are more likely to keep all the pieces that work and swap out old artists for new ones that are willing to do their bidding. Ultimately, it is about business over the individual person. Tedros, on the other hand, represents the complete opposite. He encourages being as unique and individualistic as possible, because your personal experiences shape your art in a distinct way. Tedros believes in taking risks rather than calculated bets. He goes so far as to encourage Jocelyn to lean into the leaked intimate photo being used for her own personal gain, rather than letting the world paint a picture of who she is without her her input. It could work or fail, but at least she would have tried something new rather than stick with the old, such as the music industry typically does. Although both groups are extremely exploitative and harmful to the artist, the series showcases how both sides push Jocelyn into making a difficult decision: exploit yourself or be exploited. Jocelyn inevitably chooses to exploit herself, her pain, and her trauma, as this will allow her to be the artist she has always dreamt of becoming. But what is that trauma she has yet to tap into, and why hasn't she done so before? You see, the reason I found the opening sequence to be ironic and the concern of her team to be hypocritical is because of what we learn about Jocelyn's mother and their involvement, or lack thereof. She was physically, mentally, and emotionally abusive toward Jocelyn, and she controlled almost every aspect of her life. We get hints of this unprocessed trauma in previous episodes when Jocelyn would spend a significant amount of time in front of a mirror brushing her hair. It was with this hairbrush that Jocelyn's mother would abuse her whenever she stepped out of line of being the perfect daughter and pop star. The physical and emotional scars from that abuse were evident to her team, but Tedros points out that no one stepped in to stop what was happening because they were all profiting off of Jocelyn at the time. Tedros sees this as an opening to fully indoctrinate Jocelyn into his cult by convincing her to embrace her pain in order to create music that is authentic and comes from somewhere deep within her. Earlier in the episode, we see how Jocelyn secretly longs for this as she admits to Chloe that she's never sung about anything truthful before. And at the dinner table, Jocelyn admits that she doesn't want to humiliate herself by leaning into her scandals and trauma because she wants to be taken seriously. But both Xander and Tedros comment on how she will continue to make superficial music if she only thinks about superficial things. It is her own overthinking that will be her downfall. It is then revealed that the title of the episode comes from Jocelyn's last song she wrote herself, which was the last time she was truly authentic as an artist, something she has been desperately looking to get back to. So in a gut-wrenching scene, the cult, now joined by Xander, watches as Jocelyn willingly grabs the hairbrush she was abused with and gives Tedros the same power and control her mother had over her. The next day, Jocelyn thanks Tedros for taking care of her, symbolizing her falling back into the cycle of abuse she was familiar with in the past. Will this result in Jocelyn becoming creatively unstuck, and will her music become more authentic because of it? I guess we will have to wait and see. Overall, this was a tough episode for me to stomach, as there were many uncomfortable and provocative questions being raised about Jocelyn's experience in the industry. To me, it's clear that the series is highlighting the similarities amongst the music industry, Tedros's cult, and Jocelyn's family, as they all claim to be looking out for her best interests, but that they all are only comfortable with her exploitation as long as they profit from it or have something to gain. Even Leia, who is positioned as someone seemingly innocent and genuinely worried about Jocelyn's well-being, is only okay with exploitation if she is under her management team's guidance. We have to remember that while she is Jocelyn's best friend, she is also her employee whose livelihood is dependent on Jocelyn's success as a pop idol. To be honest, I don't think that the show is glamorizing these difficult topics just for the sake of being shocking. It is trying to make a point about how fame and the spotlight dehumanize the person behind the music and ultimately turns them into a profit-generating machine that commodifies their own trauma. I hope we see a happy ending for Jocelyn by the conclusion of the series, because I'm rooting for her and the artist's need to make something that truly connects with people. However, the path toward that dream is never easy, and oftentimes it is filled with wolves in sheep's clothing. That's all for episode 3 of The Idol. Let me know your thoughts and theories below. Don't forget to subscribe and join the club. Thanks for watching.